Bradford will get the game underway. The referee today, John McCulloch from Warrington. The only previous game he's done for Bradford saw Bradford lose to Featherstone 36 points to 12 earlier on in the season. We await then. Lee Smith will get this game underway. Bradford will kick towards the South Bank stand, as it's now known, and that will see the ball collected on the 10-metre line by Toulouse Olympique, and it's game underway here at Odsal. So Toulouse with the ball in hand remain centre field on the 20-metre line. And Bradford will go hunting the mistake of this Toulouse Olympique team earlier on in these opening stages of this one. Toulouse now centre field, gaining yards, wanting to work the way up the park. We see Constantine Mika, who scored a hat-trick here on his previous visit to Odsal Stadium, take the ball up to the 40-metre line. And again, Bradford stand resolute in defence. Damien Sirenen in there with Colton Roach to bring down the Toulouse forward pack. Toulouse will kick then on the last tackle. That's a spiralling kick that will test Lee Smith. Lee Smith jumps, takes the ball, but unfortunately drops the ball. That will hand possession back to Toulouse. A little kick chase to the corner, and that will see Toulouse get the first dropout of this game. Hobbo.
Well, good pressure by Toulouse Olympique, a good kick in the swirling wind, and of course Lee Smith, who you normally back under high ball at full-back. Although I don't think full-back's his best position, I never thought that ever. But he is a full-back and he can play there. He lost the ball, which gave possession back to Toulouse. They kicked it forward, it didn't quite work for them, but it's forced a drop out. And if there's anything a coach likes to see a lot of, it's forcing him in opposition. If you don't come away from their line with some points, forcing them to drop back out to you. And that's just exactly what's happened. So the Bradford Bulls are going to have to work hard now in defence, because they're going to have to kick back out to Toulouse Olympique.
So Lee Smith then drops the ball out. That's collected by Stanislas Robin. He then feeds Justin Sanguer. Justin Sanguer then cuts inside the park and is brought down by James Bentley and Cameron Smith. Toulouse then with the ball in hand will go centre park, and they will look to try and find an opening in the early stages of this game at Odsal. And the ball moves out far side, and I thought then that Elias McCartney had been caught exposed on that far northern Stirrer side, but no, the Bradford Bulls defence scrambling back, managing to catch up with Toulouse, although Toulouse now will bring the ball again through Constantine Mika, and I think Constantine Mika's already put in an early marker down for this one that he intends to get on the score sheet today. Toulouse then with Andrew Bentley, centre park, right in front of the sticks on the fifth and last tackle. What can they do here? They'll put the ball through hands, an off little pass there. We'll see Toulouse. Now the referee is going to say that is a try, and I thought that there it did look slightly forward, but the Bradford Bulls defence caught as the little gap opened. Toulouse then fully exploited it, and I think it was Anthony Marion that said, "Yeah, I'm having that one."
Well, the fans didn't like that. They thought there was a knock-on, I think, from Toulouse Olympique, but quite frankly, that was slick ball play. It was good support play. They were punching the holes. The speed of the play of the ball was quick. Bradford, and you could feel that Bradford were on the back foot. You could always feel that something was coming there as early on in the game as we are, and that's a marker set down by Toulouse Olympique, and that's a little bit worrying, because when they've had the ball there, Toulouse, and we've only been playing a couple of minutes or so, 3 minutes or so, they've looked potent. They've been in the Bradford half, they've played the ball quickly, the ball's gone efficiently into the breadbasket, and that last pass there was spun out by a Toulouse player, and the player hit the hole, didn't he? Went low near to the try line, and Bradford couldn't stop it.
So we await the conversion then that will see Toulouse go a further 2 points ahead if the kicker is successful. My view is obscured by this post, Matt. You know, I'm going to put a request in that this post is moved for next season. Well, they give me a better seat, so not to worry. So we see then that one converted with a lucky bounce in off the sticks to push Toulouse out then, and the score on the Providence scoreboard in the opening stages of this one here at Odsal now reads Bradford Bulls 0, Toulouse 6. As we wait for the game to get back underway, we've had around about 5 minutes played then at Odsal. Bastian Alder with the conversion. So we now see a forward pass, a slight knock on, and the referee says play on.
Well,
Toulouse in possession.
Again, it seems for me to criticise referees, but I thought he was too far away from the play the ball, Pete, to have a perfect view of that. I'd be nearer the play the ball than he is. I'd be another 5 yards in, but I'm not the referee out on the field.
So Andrew Bentley then will look to get Toulouse moving forward. He's wrapped up solidly by Colton Roach in there again, with Scott Moore and Damien Sirenen on that one. Toulouse will take the ball out to the far northern stand terrace side. They've sit around about 10 metres in from the tram line, on that far stand side, and Toulouse now managing to make their way up towards the halfway mark of the field. Fifth and last tackle. What will Toulouse go here? Now the referee is going to give a penalty to Bradford and say Toulouse have come up with an error. Sorry, not a penalty. He's going to cause a scrum and give the heaven feed to Bradford. So it's one error apiece in the early stages, and a little bit scrappy, Mark.
It is a little bit scrappy, a little bit windy at pitch level. I would think the wind's favouring Toulouse Peak, because I think Bradford have got the wind in the face there. But you know, Bradford needed this scrum, they need this ball back, they need to take the game to Toulouse, they need to run at the middles, soften them up a little bit, and I think you see Sirenen do that now. But he's dropped the ball, or did he try and release it? The referee says play on. Well,
the ball went back there, and Scott Moore's luckily to get into position. He offloads to Corey Aston. Corey Aston is then wrapped up, but Bradford now have got to go hunting, and they've got to come onto this ball with some pace and get some yardage done. That will see. I think it's Scott Moore. Is it Scott? No, is it Scott Moore that's down there, or Lee Smith? No, Colton Roach is down there with a little bit of an head rub. Bradford still have the ball. James Bentley will go. He'll spin and he'll bust, but Bradford just managing to get to the 30-metre line here. Scott Moore offloads to Damien Sirenen. Damien Sirenen to Corey Aston. Corey Aston puts the ball through hands to Lee Smith. That will see then the link play coming from Ilias McCarney. Ilias McCarney cuts back in field. Bradford on the 20-metre line go looking for their opening score. Corey Aston with a little chip kick over the top. Is that too far for Josh Ricketts? No, Josh Ricketts manages to keep it in play, but the touch judge says no, it's gone into touch, and Hobbo again Bradford found lacking.
Well, that's questionable, is that? But the linesman's there, so we can't really. When I say questionable, I didn't think he had gone into touch. I thought he just saved it at Josh Ricketts. The sideways kick across the field on the last tackle, trying to open the Toulouse Olympic defence. But Bradford found that a little bit lacking. That no incisive inside runner, no scrum half taking on the line and jinking and twisting and throwing the dummy. Just that little bit static and a bit easy to read, I thought, for Toulouse Olympic there. That last sortie by Bradford.
So Toulouse gets back underway then here at the Altos Stadium. The score still remains Bradford Bulls 0, Toulouse Olympic 6 on the Providence scoreboard, and Toulouse will go now and try and get something going forward over on the northern stand terrace side. Ilias McCarney then in there with there to defend, forces the Toulouse players to come back inside on the fourth tackle. What will Toulouse do here? They will remain centre park, putting the ball through hands. That will see Charles Busniak then make a little scooting run and try to get something from that. Toulouse break into the Bradford half. Another forward pass there, and the referee does actually see this one, so that will go in Bradford's favour, and he will hand possession over to Bradford just when you thought Toulouse were going to get on the front foot there, but Bradford managing to pick up on that one. And now what can Bradford do? So Bradford centre park. Colton Roach in there taking the ball up, gets Bradford to the 40-metre line. Scott Moore will wait at acting half. He will look then to it, Damien Sirenen. Damien Sirenen then on to Joe Keys. Joe Keys to Lee Smith. Lee Smith then to Vila Alafifi. Vila Alafifi then cuts back inside. And play will continue. He's tackled. Corey Aston does well to keep the ball there. Bit of a ricochet pass from Damien Sirenen. Bradford still have the ball then, just shy of the 20-metre line. Scotty Moore shows and goes. Joe Keys then tries to show and go. Fifth and last tackle. Bradford sit 17 metres away from this Toulouse try line. Corey Aston with a little chip kick through. Oh, and unfortunately Bradford just found short there, Mark.
James Bendika rushing onto the kick there from Corey Aston, just a little bit too much power on the kick, but he did very well, did Corey Aston. And the Bradford player almost got his hand on the ball, but the Toulouse Olympique, to be fair player, and I think it was Bastien Adair, I think just got his boot to that ball and put it behind, but it is a dropout from Toulouse Olympique to the Bradford Bulls.
So Bradford Bulls then will get this, their first dropout of the game. That will see the ball fall to Carlton Roach. Carlton Roach makes a barnstorming run at the centre of the park. He's then followed then by another great run that gets Bradford to the 20-metre line by Liam Kirk. Scott Moore then takes a drive forward, gives a little short offload into Damien Siren, and Damien Siren is brought down on the 10-metre line. Bradford still have the ball. Joe Keys to James Bentley. James Bentley then throws a bit of a wild pass, but Bradford managed to keep possession. And Toulouse now winning, wanting to mix it up on the floor there. Poor Josh Ricketts not being able to get up and play the ball, but James Bentley quick enough to get out of acting half and take the Bulls back to centre part. Joe Keys with a little kick. That will see it ricochet bounce, and that should see Bradford score, but the referee has said knock on. Now, Mark, I'm somewhat bemused by that, because in all fairness, the ball struck the Toulouse player last. Bradford then get possession and touchdown, and yet the referee says knock on.
I'm amazed by that, because the kick through from Lee Smith bounced off a Toulouse Olympique player. It bounced into the ground. Josh Ricketts got it. He touched it down, and I thought that was all perfect. I thought that was a try.
You and me both. I'm both.
Amazed by that. I really am amazed by that decision. So Bradford not having a look at all, but I just can't see it. It's not too far away for me to see. I just couldn't see anything wrong with that at all.
So the referee puts that down to an error and a Bradford knock on, giving Toulouse Olympique the put-in at the scrum, which they do. So Toulouse now will come into the centre part, but Carlton Roach, what a fantastic tackle there from Carlton Roach and Liam Kirk to put the Toulouse player back on the back leg, so to speak.
Paul Marcon, I think it was.
Yeah, and Bradford now will still hunt in this defence and try and force an error. Toulouse not making many yards, Mark, on with this set of 6, but the referee is going to give a penalty and say Bradford have reefed the ball away, when in all fairness it looked like a knock on.
Well, what he said is Cameron Smith had his hand in to play the ball, I think, and he's penalised Bradford there, which is a bit unfair, on about the 25-metre mark, centre field of the Toulouse half. Toulouse, of course, in the blue and white strip, playing from the Coral stand to the Ruley Lane end, and Bradford Bulls traditional white and red, amber and black, attacking the Coral stand end, of course, and defending the Ruley Lane end. So Toulouse Olympique in Bradford's half, and they've got a full set of 6 to come.
So Toulouse in, find the gaps there, and that sees Charles Busney exploiting the gap. Bradford switching off at a crucial time. Toulouse will go searching then with a little chip kick through, and that has just got too much on it. Otherwise, Toulouse were in again from an error from Bradford that really should have seen Toulouse not get the opportunity to kick through, Mark.
No, they shouldn't at all. No.
But that was so easy for them, so easy to read the play, and so easy to get into that position.
Well, Bradford looking a little bit disjointed this moment in time, and to be fair, you know, a different side yet again this week in, week out, not the same numbers, not the same people, making it very, very difficult for Bradford to get the cohesion that's needed to take the teams on. And as you can see there, Joe Keys trying to jink and turn, but there's nobody with him, there's no plan move, there's no structure, it's one-man stuff, and you know as well as I do, Pete, that's very easy to defend against.
It is. Liam Kirk then with the ball in hand will get Bradford to the halfway line. Prior to that, we saw Joe Keys try to move across the park looking for runners, but unfortunately none could be found. Corey Aston floats a nice little ball over the top. That will hit James Mendika. James Mendika will feed Ilias McCarney. Ilias McCarney cuts back inside, and Bradford managed to claw their way to the 30-metre line with inside the Toulouse half. Then we see Lee Smith go on a little blindside run and still managing to claw his way forward to the 20-metre line on the 5th and last tackle. What will Bradford do here? Corey Aston puts a kick high towards the sticks. That will see Toulouse collect that one quite easily. The referee will blow his whistle and give a penalty to Toulouse to say that Bradford were all offside.
Well, they probably were. Not all of them, but 2 or 3 of them there. They didn't quite know where they were. But, you know, very frustrating refereeing decisions, and of course the crowd don't like it whatsoever. But I think that, to use a Brian Nobleism, Peter, you've got to be that much in control that if things go against you, you still doesn't affect the outcome or the situation where you are at that particular time on the field. And what I mean by that is Bradford should be 2 or 3 scores in front by now, but that isn't going to look likely anytime soon because they're just not penetrating this defensive line and breaking through and bringing their backs onto the ball.
So Toulouse then will go again at this Bradford defence. Toulouse managing to claw their way slowly but surely out of their own half. They now sit just 3 metres shy of the halfway line. They now actually do penetrate into the Bradford half, and Bradford having to get through some very, very strong tackling and some good defensive work early on in the stages of this game. However, Toulouse throw the ball about with some ease. That will see Stanislas Robin eventually put down to the grass along with Mark Carella. And again, Bradford having to wrap up the Toulouse players. Paul Macron there wrapped up by James Bentley and Vila Alafifi. The kick on the last tackle then caught in the oddsall wind. The referee will give a penalty to Bradford as a Toulouse player is caught offside. Mark, a little bit unlucky with that kick because as the ball went up, the wind picked up, and I don't think Toulouse were ready or had anticipated the swirl around in that the bottom of the bowl.
No, absolutely right. The wind is swirling around in the bottom of the bowl, and it will make judgments of where kicks are going to go very, very difficult today. And that is going to favour the team that can control and has the better place kicking players. Play
gets underway. We see Bradford then awarded another penalty for a high shot on Damien Sirenen as he took the first drive in. That will get Bradford further down the field. So Bradford now managed to get just over the 30-metre line of the Toulouse Olympique seed. The referee stops the game because of 2 balls on the pitch. Bradford re-rack then and go again. Bradford then through Carlton Roach managed to get some forward momentum there. Now sit 15 metres away from the Toulouse Olympic try line. The ball goes to Joe Keys. Joe Keys goes one way, cuts back on the other, looking for the gap. He's trying to find somebody to send through the gap. Unfortunately, again, we see no runners there, Mark, as he crabs his way across. Bradford still have the ball. Corey Aston to Ross Peltier, who's now joined the fray. Ross Peltier pushing those big legs of his forward to try and get Bradford forward. Scotty Moore feeds Corey Aston. Corey Aston is wrapped up there by some strong Toulouse tackle and come up with a knock on. They're forced Corey Aston to knock on. Matt, I just want to roll that back slightly, where we saw Joe Keys again running across the park in look for support. And
nothing
support
there.
He created 2 gaps there as well,
He did create
Mark.
2 gaps. So he was looking for the drop-off and the inside run of the drop-off. Nobody had the brains to really, with all due respect to him, to follow his ball-carrying hand and drop it off and shout for it. And they had Toulouse under the cosh, well and truly. Some good runners onto that ball, either side, left or right of him, would have opened up a gap and they would have scored a try, I'm sure they would. But him and Corey Aston are almost a similar type of player, so do they really complement themselves? Because they're both scrum halves, really.
Yeah. Well, Stanislas Robin then gets us back underway here at the Providence Stadium, the home of the Bradford Bulls. You're listening to the Big Match Live on BCB 106.6 FM, brought to you in association with Providence, and the score on the Providence scoreboard currently reads Bradford Bulls 0, Toulouse Olympique 6, as Toulouse kick deep on that one. That will turn Josh Ricketts round. Josh Ricketts then gets back, manages to pick up the ball and races up towards his own 30-metre line before he's met by 3 Toulouse Olympique tacklers. Centre field then, and Bradford will look and ask some questions. James Bentley then will go one way, drops his shoulder the other way. That ball comes loose. The referee says that's going to be a knock-on, and Bradford come up with another error when they've just got the possession back. I make that so far, Matt, the 5th error of Bradford's play so far in the opening stages of this one.
That's exactly right, and you can't do that. And Bradford's struggling to contain the swirling wind in the bottom of the ball, and just making the right option at the right time. But they look like a team that are disjointed, Pete. They look, from a coaching viewpoint, from a technical viewpoint, it looks like 13 men being put together. There's no cohesion to the attacks. There's no moves. There's no set moves. And whilst Toulouse Olympique haven't been anything overly special, they just sat back waiting to pounce, you feel, and can read what Bradford are doing, and they're sort of seeing what Bradford can do and thinking, well, if this is the best you've got, we're going to be all right in this game.
Well, Mark Carella then gets the Toulouse Olympique team deep into the Bradford half. They will start the second tackle of this set on the Bradford Bulls 30-metre line. And again, Toulouse Olympique seem to be working the ball towards the northern terrace side, where Bradford have got Ilias Makane and Vila Alafife defending. And I wonder if Toulouse have sort of like picked that side as a weaker side. However, we now see them switch the ball through great play, and that's just going to see Toulouse score again through Constantine Mika. I think, Mark, that has been coming.
It has been coming, and quite frankly, they broke away down the right hand side from 30 metres out, and the tackling wasn't good at all. Number 20 Bentley and number 7 Keys just hit the deck, couldn't get the tacker for Toulouse Olympique round the waist, and he walked through it quite easily and strutted round the back. And looking at the body language of the Bradford Bulls, I think this is going to be a difficult afternoon at the office. I think the morale's gone, I think the structure's gone, I think the Bradford Bulls don't really know what to do, and I think it's all very sad.
Well, in this opening stages, Mark, we've had about 22 minutes. I don't think Toulouse have been great and played throwing, attacking rugby.
They've sat and waited and watched.
They've sat,
gone through the basics.
They've sat and they've found the field position. And then what they've basically done is they've looked at it and thought, right, where can we pick Bradford off? Where can we find these holes? By these little offload passes, either one back on the inside or to the outside. That's then seen them, able to exploit the gaps, as they seem to have opened up quite easily in the Bradford defence.
I mean, you come to there, Pete. You said that the attacking this side here, this right-hand side from 30 metres out, you think there's a bit of weakness. You actually could see that try coming, you couldn't, because I could as well.
Yeah.
The body position of the defenders wasn't right to put an effective tackle in.
No.
You can't turn back and tackle very easily. You've got to meet attackers face on, and the footwork there wasn't quite right, and the centre had gone out of position. Bentley made an attempt to tackle the Toulouse Olympique player, but I think it's going to be a difficult afternoon at the office, sad to say, and you've got to say Toulouse Olympique aren't a bad looking side. So
Mark Carella then converts that one, heading to his first conversion of the game. That pushes Toulouse out to 12 points to 0. They lead here at the Providence Stadium. So Lee Smith will get us back underway. That will be kicked deep. That will be taken by Toulouse. Paul Macron down on this main stand side, should I say. Toulouse then will go now again at this Bradford attack, Bradford defence, managing to offload in the tackle. 3 tacklers in there, and Toulouse still managed to get the ball away. That will see them scoot away towards their own 30-metre line. Toulouse then will bring it back down this main stand terrace side. James Bentley in there with a great tackle, wrapping up Constantine Mika on that occasion, but Toulouse managing to get the ball away in the tackle again, and Anthony Marion there wrapped up by Damien Sirenen, as Toulouse still with the ball in hand. Mika getting through some work, and the referee's going to give a knock on there and award a scrum and give the head and feed to Bradford. Damien Sirenen there, Mark, having to work overtime, I think, because some of his Bradford teammates are just happy to sit back and let him get on with it.
Well, he's almost a sole runner in the Bradford pack, and he's doing a lot of tackling as well, and he must have thought, what have I joined here? And with all due respect to him, but he worked out there to put him a Toulouse Olympique player on his back, and he was coming from back, and he got on top of the player, and he crunched the tackle on the man and ball tackle, and it forced the Toulouse Olympique player to lose the football. Good stuff from Sirenen.
Bradford then will look to try and get some momentum going with this set of 6. James Bentley to Vila Alafife to Josh Ricketts. Josh Ricketts then with a lovely little ball, cuts back inside. He's just picked up just shy of the Toulouse 20-metre line. Bradford still have the ball. Corey Aston then, centre park. Corey Aston will feed Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith brought down on the 20-metre line. Scotty Moore picks up and scoops from dummy half. That will get Bradford to the 10-metre line, and Bradford now on the 5th and last tackle will ask questions of this Toulouse. They go to the northern stand terrace side, a little chip kick through there, and again, Mark, that's got to be said, the wrong option. Why didn't that ball go up there in the centre sticks?
Well, it should have done, and they should have put a bit of pressure on the Toulouse Olympique defence, and if you don't put your opponents under pressure, then they will play with more confidence, and Toulouse Olympique look as if they think they can just do the basics right and get on top and keep on top of this Bradford side, and that's proven to be the case so far.
Well, we saw there as Toulouse started this set of 6, and the Toulouse fullback Mark Frilla actually beat 3 sets of defenders, Mark, before he was actually brought down. And now we see Toulouse edging forward. They're up over the 40-metre line. They're in their own half, and they sit very close to the Bradford Bulls halfway line. This is the 5th and last tackle. Little chip kick there from Stanislas Robin. Stanislas Robin still manages to return the possession. A little hand in there will see the play go back to 1. Now, Bradford come up with the possession, but the referee is going to go back. He's going to go back and form a scrum, Mark, and is going to give the head and feed to Toulouse, where he waved back to 1. We saw play continue. So then Bradford come up with a possession, Mark, after a Toulouse missed pass. So how can he go back and then give the scrum? Am I missing something here?
Well, I'm a little bit baffled as well about the decision by the referee. It's some strange decisions that he's given. And Bradford just knocked the races. And I tell you what I don't like about that last Bradford. That's all. And I'm going to say this, and some people aren't going to like it. That was bottleless by the Bradford back line. There was a bouncing ball. Nobody put the body on the line. That is, I can't accept that. I can't accept that, no. Peter. You know, you put your body on the line, you win, you lose. But the 2 Bradford defenders there just didn't want to put the body on the line and get in the way. The ball was coming at them, the attacking player running at them, and they let it bounce first, and that's not acceptable. Jeff Tooby will be livid with that.
So Bradford have to defend then against this marauding Toulouse Olympic team, who so far have dictated all the play here at the Provident Odsal Stadium in the first 25 minutes of this one. And again, Toulouse now sit on the Bradford Bulls 20-metre line. They'll push the ball through hands, quick hands again. This will see the ball eventually find its way into I think it's Corey Aston over on the far stand side there, who comes up with possession for Bradford. A bit of a saving grace there for Corey Aston. But again, Bradford stretched at the crucial point, but managing to keep the ball. Damien Sirenen will come forward, and the ball will now land in Vila Halafifi's hand. Vila Halafifi will play the ball. James Bentley will try and get Bradford up to this halfway line, which he does. And the referee gives a penalty to Bradford for a high shot. I'll quickly go through some scores as I've got them then. OKR 14, Halifax 10. Batley 14, Swinton 10. Dewsbury Rams 14, Rochdale 0. And Sheffield 20, Oldham 0.
Right, so far we were right, weren't we, I think, just about in our assumptions there. But a long way to go. I thought it'd be close at OKR. I don't think OKR are the real deal. I think they're going to struggle to get back in the Super League at the first attempt. But who knows, a long way to go yet.
Ross Peltier then. And the ball is ripped, so that should see another penalty go in Bradford's favour.
It should indeed.
And referee John McCullum clausing that one right. So what can Bradford do? They're on the 20-metre line. Scotty Moore decides to tap it. That will see Sam Ellis, who's now on the park, join the fray and take the Bulls up towards the 10-metre line. He's still going. He'll play the ball as the referee shouts out. Scotty Moore will look for something. Joe Keys off to Lee Smith. Lee Smith twists one way, turns the other, still managing to crawl his way forward. Bradford sit 3 minutes shy of the try line. Then we see Ross Peltier use all his frame to try and force his way over the line. Again, Bradford get another penalty from a Toulouse.
Well, they're going to have a set play and run it, because it's 2 minutes to the left-hand side should have the Toulouse post. It's about 3 metres out. 2 points is no good because they're 12 behind, so they've got to score a try and a goal here if they can.
So Mikhail Walecki then will get this one back underway. He's dragged towards the line. He's got to be inches short of the line. Bradford still with the ball. Corey Aston then will feed Lee Smith. Lee Smith will hit Ilias McCarney. Ilias McCarney will jink one way, jink the other, and Ilias McCarney will score a try that will get the Bradford account open this afternoon here at the Odsal Stadium. And that's been hard work, Mark, but it's no more than what Bradford deserve for sticking at the task and certainly then trying to find the gap within this Toulouse defence.
Well, what it tells you that Toulouse are human, and that if you throw the ball about and open them up, then you can score tries. And that was a great looping pass over the top, wasn't it? And it landed in the hands of Ilias McCarney, but there were 2 defenders on him, and McCarney had to go backwards, go sideways, and then go forwards again. That was a good try from McCarney, right in at the corner. He went round the back of 2 Toulouse defenders and touched the ball down about 3-4 metres in from the flag side, leaving a very difficult kick in this swirling wind. But it was Aston that made that pass. It started with Scott Moore, the tap, he threw the pass to Aston. I think Aston looped it over the top, didn't he? Or was it Lee Smith? I think it was Corey Aston that looped it over the top.
Corey Aston was in there at pivot.
Yeah.
He then fed Lee Smith.
That's right. Lee Smith.
Lee Smith 2 steps, spotted that the gap was there.
He did, over the top.
Yeah.
And it was a good move. That was a very well worked move. Obviously they played that on the training ground, and over the top it went. I thought the wind might catch it and blow it away. It didn't. Into hands, but he had a lot to work to do, Lord Mackay, didn't he? He didn't have to just touch it down. With 2 defenders on him, he decided to outstep them, which he did. Backwards first, then sideways, then forwards, bringing Bradford back into the game. For the Bulls 4, the Toulouse Olympique 12 with a kick to come, but a very difficult kick because Bradford are kicking into the wind.
So Lee Smith then will look to strike this one and open his account today, and unfortunately that one sails just wide. So the score on the Providence scoreboard will read Bradford Bulls 4, Toulouse Olympique 12. We've had around about 30 minutes played, Mark, here of this first half. It's 30 minutes that seems to have flown by, in all fairness.
Absolutely flown by, and but there's a real game on here. I think Bradford just need to look more to the structure to feel a bit more confident. You now can see how to beat this Toulouse Olympique. I don't think the pack's stronger to beat the pack, but you're throwing the ball out wide, and Toulouse Olympique with the Gaelic flair and their flamboyant style seem to run out the line very quickly. That's when you catch a team out, by getting the pass in and getting the runner into the gap, and that's how we can score tries.
Well, that's twice now we've seen the ball fall off the kicking tee, as Mark Carella's gone to get this game back underway. Bradford now have got to really, really up the ante. They've got to come back at Toulouse. They've got to throw every single ounce and everything, Mark. They've got to throw the kitchen sink, the kitchen table and everything at this Toulouse Olympique defence now on this attack, as we see Elias McCartney then get us back underway. He picks up the ball, manages to scramble 12 metres away from his own try line, and he's then wrapped up by 3 Toulouse Olympique tacklers. The ball will then go to Mikhail Alaleski. Mikhail Alaleski gets that big frame of his moving. He managed to get Bradford over their own 20-metre line, as again Bradford put the ball through hands. James Bentley then takes another drive forward. That will see Bradford over their own 30-metre line on the 3rd tackle. Joe Keys to Vila Alafifi. Vila Alafifi ducks one way, goes the other. Eventually he's wrapped up, and there's a bit of afters there in the tackle from Stanislas Robbins, showing all his old campaigning head and Gaelic toughness there. Joe Keys will kick on the last then. That will see the ball go to Mark Carella's hands. He takes that with gleeful joy. The Bradford defence there of Joe Keys and James Bentley in on Mark Carella to bring him down on the 10-metre line of Toulouse. And Bradford now will look for the error and hopefully get something back from this set of 6. Toulouse then, ball in hand. Stanislas Robin feeding Tony Morel. And again, Bradford having to wait a bit slow to clear the ruck for my liking, but if it's slowing the Toulouse Olympique side down and the referee's allowed to get away with it, then they're going to do it, Mark.
Of course, yeah, that's what teams do, and the referee needs to stamp his authority on the game. Because I think we've got a decent game in story. Toulouse just looked a bit more controlled. They are at the top end of the table and not at the bottom end like the Bulls are. They've kept a regular team almost all season, as far as that goes, whereas Bradford had so many changes, it's unbelievable.
Well, a little bit of a mix-up there.
That's right, because nobody called for it.
Yeah, between Lee Smith and Josh Ricketts. However, Josh Ricketts does manage to come up with possession from the kick of Stanislas Robin. And Toulouse again, offside mark on that one, but the referee's allowing it to play on. Bradford not getting any yardage here because the referee's keeping them a very, very short 10 metres. James Bentley then will again be asked to get the Bulls forward, manages to get to the Bulls' own 30-metre line on the fourth tackle. And for the Bulls to only make 40 metres now in 5 tackles and still be in their own half as Joe Keys kicks the ball. That will go towards Tony Morel. Tony Morel will bring this back and Bradford will tackle him in the centre of the park. Mark, again, very shallow defensive line from the Toulouse Olympique there. But I'm now looking to see whether the referee is going to allow the same leniency towards Bradford, which so far he seems to be going back a little bit further for Bradford, and that's not me being biased, but it just looks that if he's...
It looks that way, certainly.
Yeah,
yes,
it
strange,
looks as if
very,
Bradford
very
are going
strange.
back at least 12 metres, and Toulouse are certainly playing a very, very shallow 10. Toulouse then, inside the Bradford half, that sees Levi and Zogyu with the ball. Levi and Zogyu now on the park, and on as a substitute. A little forward pass there, but that goes unnoticed by the referee. Bradford get the ball back, but the referee's going to give a penalty for offside to Toulouse. And again, Mark, there's no, we're not seeing any fluency. We're not seeing any. It's hard to call, you know. This game should be exciting. It should be fast-paced. It should be
a lot of stop-start.
I
think the swirling wind, to be fair, is playing a big part down in the ball there. But Bradford a bit disjointed, at different combinations, different team altogether. Lee Smith, coming into the team and a little bit ring rusty. 1 or 2 calls and shouts for high balls haven't quite gone their way. Some strange refereeing decisions makes it a little bit disjointed, the game.
Toulouse then will go in and score a further try after Bradford caught napping in defence to leave the score on the Providence scoreboard at Bradford 4, Toulouse 16.
Well, I couldn't call that because I couldn't see where that was coming from. That was absolutely unbelievable. We thought the referee had given an infringement. The Bradford players just stood around. Toulouse Olympique just got on with it and ran through 2 Bradford defenders. I mean, who was at fault there, Pete?
Well, that goes back to, Mark, to what we were saying a little bit earlier, not less than 5 minutes ago, Mark, when we were actually talking about how Toulouse had managed to look at this Bradford defence and say, right, we know where we need to go, we know how we need to exploit the gaps, and all we need to do is get a few forward runners in there, set the play, and then look where we're either going to drop the ball off left, a short left ball or a short right ball, and send somebody through a gap. And every time they've had the likes of Stanislas Robin, you've had Charles Bosniak do it, where they're actually attacking the Bulls defensive line and creating that gap and actually dragging the Bulls defensive players out of their position to allow then for a supporting player to be given either a little offside ball or a little inside ball, and the way it goes towards the line mark.
But on that particular try there, Pete, to be fair to the Bradford players, I thought the referee was going to give something, because why did they freeze like that, or was it just poor defensive play?
Poor, Mark, poor. Well, the conversion kick sails through the post here with the wind behind it. So now that sees Toulouse ease themselves out to 18 points to 4 against the Bradford Bulls. You're listening to the Big Match live here on BCB 106.6 FM, the home of live sport in Bradford. Brought to you by Providence, supporting Bull supporters home and away. Don't forget, you can tweet us using the hashtag BCB Bulls, and don't forget you can also leave messages on Facebook for us, and we will try and reply to your messages and your tweets in due course. We wait for Lee Smith then to restart the game here, and again, it's blowing a bit of a breeze, I think, down on the pitch. That sees the ball kicked high, and that will see Bradford get possession back. Now, what can Bradford do here? Sam Hallis manages to position himself there to collect the ball, and Bradford now sit 12 metres away from this Toulouse line. Mikhail Oleski will get the Bulls over the 10-metre line. Bradford now 8 metres away, and all to play for here in the closing stages of this half. We'll see Ross Peltier try and use his brute force and muscle. Little gap opens up. That will see. Well, the referee says he's held up. I thought Scotty Moore then had gone in and touched down. The referee says he's held up on his back. The play will come back to the 10-metre line. Bradford still have the ball. Corey Aston to James Bentley. James Bentley pushes off one, manages to get the ball back to Mikhail Oleski. Mikhail Oleski will then go on another one of his forward bursting drives that gets Bradford 3 metres shy of this Toulouse Olympic try line. Joe Keys feeds Villarreal Afifi wrapped up by three Toulouse players on the last tackle then, and James Bentley now tries to go in and do the exact same move as Scotty Moore, but the referee says no, having none of it, and that will be turned over to Toulouse Olympique. Obo, was that the right idea? Was that the way to go?
Well, I'm tempted to say no, and he should have gone a little bit to the open side and run the legs out of Toulouse Peak. But you know, every rugby league player sees the gap, don't they, when they're near the line and they want to score that try and take the pressure off the team. So, to a certain extent, it's a little bit fair. That's Steve Potsley today. Steve, thank you. Loving my French Bradford accent. Yes, you're right. I am a Bradford boy, and boy, can you tell it? I'll have to sue the elocution lessons. And but I did get O-level French, but there you go, a long time ago. Trevor Clark, the great Trevor Clark, I think, listening somewhere in the world. Trevor, if you are, thank you very, very much, and hope you are keeping well. And boy, could we do with you out there today, Trevor, even as you are now, probably. But thank you for that.
Knock on then from Toulouse Olympique. Will hand possession back to Bradford. And that's just shy of the Toulouse Olympique.
Sorry, Pete. I felt there if Bradford could have scored then converted, that'd be 12-10 with about 3 minutes left of this first half. I thought with the wind at their backs, Bradford, if they just up the game a little bit, cut the mistakes out, would have half a chance. But I think they need to score before half time. Still in it.
Yeah.
But if they could have scored there, it would have been 18 and converted, it would have been 18-10, wouldn't it? You know, as it is now, the 2 scores away.
Well, Bradford are 2 scores away.
Yeah.
I reckon that time's nearly up on this first half. It's been an half of a little bit of an indifference performance, to say the least. Bradford, I won't say aren't in it, but they're certainly not come out of the sheds, Mark. With
no, they're not cohesive. They're not mean.
Yeah.
They're not hungry. They're picking up some scraps from Toulouse Olympique. But they've got to play a lot better than this in the second half to win this game, that is for sure. It's going to take a monumental task at half time from Tui to get the message over to his troops. It's one-man stuff.
It is very one-man stuff. And we've just seen that there, Mark, in the 2 drives of Bradford. We saw Scotty Moore field Mikel Alaleski. Then we saw Scotty Moore feed Ross Peltier. But now Bradford showing a bit of enterprise, trying to put the ball through hands. That will see Sam Alice wrapped up centre park. And he's just over the 10-metre line. That was inventive play from Villarreal Fifi to stop the ball from going in a touch. But Corey Aston is picked off so easy there. And the referee now gives a penalty to Bradford, saying that Toulouse were offside.
Some ironical cheers from the Bradford fans in here, you know, because they think that's long overdue. So
Bradford quickly take the tap and will look to try and get some points to close this half out. Ross Peltier is over. And Ross Peltier, we've said it before, needs to use that big frame of his and manages to score. I think that's his first try of the season, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you could be right, Pete, there. But, you know, the ball came back to Ross Peltier over on the about 15 minutes to the right-hand side of the Toulouse Olympique post. And they're running out of options. One-man rugby, but it worked on that occasion. Ross run hard and straight from 8 metres out. He got his body low, got his body shape low, used his bulk to the best of his ability, and drove the ball between a posse of Toulouse defenders to touch the ball down again to the right hand side of their post, leaving the conversion a lot easier on this occasion for Lee Smith. And it's now the Bulls 8, Olympic 18 for the conversion to come. That gives the Bulls some hope in the second half, Peter.
It certainly does give some hope in the second half, and again, you know, it's how Bradford react from that, you know, and it's all right, Mark, you know, it's all right, Mark, that you know, scoring, and yeah, he's been close to half time, but it's what they do with it. And what we've seen, Mark, so far is that when Bradford have been in key positions, and again, I'm not trying to do anything down here, but Bradford just coming up with errors at the critical time that have handed possession, and also handed I certainly think 2 tries to Toulouse
without a shadow of a doubt,
you know, through their own errors and their own mistakes.
Toulouse looked that, if we're honest, and we've got to be honest, Toulouse looked that little bit more organised, that little bit more structured. Why wouldn't they be? They've been at the right end of the table most of the season, but they don't look unbeatable, do they?
No.
They're beatable, and it's how you attack their fringes, their edges. I think that's where Toulouse are weak, on this left-hand side, on the far right-hand side. And I think if Bradford Bulls can do that, get into some good field position from 30 metres out, get the runners running onto the ball in numbers, then I think they could claw this points deficit back in the second half.
Yeah. Well, Bradford by no means out of it. Score on the Providence scoreboard now reads Bradford Bulls 10, Toulouse Olympique 18. Lee Smith with his first conversion of his Bradford career, and Bradford now certainly with a little bit more zest about them. We'll see the ball go to Villarreal Afifi. Villarreal Afifi will cut back away from this main stand side and get Bradford up to his own 40-metre line. Scotty Moore will take another little scoop, but Bradford get a penalty for Toulouse. Is again interference at the play of the ball. So Bradford will kick deep then. That will get Bradford deep into the
22
Toulouse
seconds left on the clock, Pete. What can they do? If they could score and convert now, then the game would really be on.
James Bentley then. James Bentley will go towards the 20-metre mark, just shy of the centre point of the field. But again, Scotty Moore feeds Joe Keys. Joe Keys on to Corey Aston. Corey Aston on to Lee Smith. Lee Smith with a little chip kick. And that will see the Toulouse Olympic player knock that dead. The hooter goes.
Well, that's what Bradford can today, quite frankly. Put on a good performance and hopefully get the win and get a lifeline to stay in this championship.
Well, the teams are out, and Toulouse have got us underway here then at the Hotel Stadium at the start of the second half. Bradford Bulls will play towards the Ruley Lane end. Scotty Moore will be in there, and he will feed Mikel Alaleski. Mikel Alaleski will get the Bradford Bulls just up to shy of the 40-metre line. Sam Alice then to Ross Peltier. Ross Peltier to Corey Aston. The ball bounces off Corey Aston's hands, but then Bradford manage to come up with possession, but the referee's going to call that back for the first knock on. So there's no real advantage as the wind picks up here and nearly blows us off our seats. And the round of applause you can hear is for the Bradford Bulls women's team taking the plaudits as they go past this main stand side. Toulouse have the put in then at the scrum. That will see Mika go on one of his runs to test the Bulls defence. Toulouse now managing to ease their way with some ease into the Bradford Bulls half here. Third tackle will see Toulouse up to the 20-metre line, and the referee saying Bradford, come on, get back on side. Toulouse with the ball in hand will again look to punch holes in this Bradford defence as Stanislas Robin goes one way, cuts back on the other. He'll get Bradford up to the he'll get Toulouse up to the 10-metre line. A little bit of a play there at the thing, but then we see an absolute fantastic run there from Konstantin Mika, who just manages to bulldoze his way through and push Mikel Alaleski and Sam Alice back towards their own line. But Toulouse still dangerous here. Over on the far stand side, the northern terrace side, that will see Toulouse score and open the score in the first minute of this second half. Mark.
Well, they've got the starting blocks meaning business of Toulouse, and obviously whatever's been said by Sylvain Houle, the coach, has worked because they've played the ball very quickly. They've run like they did in the first opening 10 minutes, and the try's gone against Bradford. They moved the ball to this left-hand side on the last level, right across far to the right-hand side, through 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pairs of hands, and touching down the corner, opening the Bradford defence up. And when they do that, Bradford don't have any answer to that. Bradford defend on the heels and not moving into the defensive faces of Toulouse Olympique, in quite an easy try. It is about 5 metres in from the touchline side, about 18 metres out the kick, and the wind, I think, is in Toulouse Olympique's face. It's a bit of a swirling wind here today, but it's not what the doctor ordered so near into this second half, and the Bradford Bulls have got a bit of a hill to climb now, because it's the Bradford Bulls 10, Toulouse Olympique 22.
So Mark Carella then will line this one up. He'll look to add to his 3 conversions already this afternoon and maintain his 100% kicking record here at the Providence Stadium. The right as Mark says, the wind is swirling round. He strikes that one, and that one will be a miss on this occasion. So the score now remains Bradford Bulls 10, Toulouse Olympique 22. In the opening stages of the second half, we just had about 2 minutes on the clock that saw Toulouse then breeze in on the northern stand terrace side, Mark, for a relatively easy try. And Bradford, again, were they still in the changing rooms, or?
Well, defending on the heels, not thinking, not quite moving forward, and you know, Toulouse Olympique took very much advantage of that by just simply running the ball into the hands. If you run into the hole at numbers and the defenders don't come at you, it's quite easy to go forward, and gaps tend to open up for you. And Toulouse, I think, know that now, and I think you'll see more of that from Toulouse Olympique.
So Lee Smith then takes the kick from the restart. The kick finds Maxime Pooch. Maxime Pooch will bring his team towards the 20-metre line. He'll then see another tackle, and Maxime Pooch will then go on the offload. But again, another great tackle there from James Bentley over on the Northern Stand Terrace side. And now Bradford are having to get onto the front foot to meet these Toulouse Olympic players and keep them pinned in their own half. They sit just shy of the halfway line here as Mikhail Aletsky gets through some tackling work here with Cameron Smith. And again, Toulouse Olympic managing to force their way into the half on the fifth and last tackle. That will see Stanislas Robin put up a high kick. That bounces. Joe Keys manages to collect it. Then he's brought down 18 metres away from his own try line. And Bradford now, with the ball in hand, will look to get some forward momentum going here. James Bentley takes the first drive of this set of 6. The referee looking left and right, letting Toulouse drift offside again. Pinchisi meters mark from this player, the balls. And again, Toulouse slowing the play of the ball down. Bradford not really getting any forward momentum here. What can we do with this one? As we see, James Mendika is pinned down. Ilias McCanny then goes in at acting half. Ilias McCanny to Corey Aston. Corey Aston to Sam Alice. Sam Alice will get through some work again, and he'll manage to get Bradford into the Toulouse half on the fifth and last tackle. Joe Keys will put the ball up. Not a really high kick, but a bit of a swirler. That will test Mark Carella, and Carella takes that one on his knees more or less and brings it away and gets Toulouse up to their own 20-metre line here at the Providence Stadium. The scoreline reads Bradford Bulls 10, Toulouse Olympique 22. Mark, not the best kick again.
Not the best kick again, no. Bradford under pressure, kicking from the wrong angle. They've been put under pressure and been a little bit loose in their structure and shape when attacking, and it means that they're not kicking with any great confidence because they're having to do it under pressure and not from being in control of the set.
So Toulouse then in possession, and again a few of the crowd sat here in the main stand certainly think that Toulouse have been lucky to manage to get away with a few forward passes. Tony Morel then of the Toulouse Olympic side managed to get his team on the last tackle to the halfway line. So what will Toulouse do here? They'll put the ball through hand. A little chip kick there finds a gap. James Bentley manages to wrap that one up. Sam Alice then picks up a loose pass from Stanislas Robin, and he's wrapped up under a heavy tackle that sees a little bit of afters going on there. And the referee's now going to calm everything down. He's going to call the two players involved there to him, and that is Maxime Pouche and Sam Hallis, and he's just having a word now, Mark. And what do you think he'll be saying?
Well, what I'll be saying, there's no need for this. Just calm it down, and I'm in control of this, and we're going to have none of it. Get back to playing rugby league, and that's what we should do. Assert his authority on the game.
Yeah,
in more ways than one. It's not just about the physicality; it's about the referee being in control. Referees make mistakes, and we've got to understand that. But they've got to make decisions and make them quickly.
So Ellis McCartney then with the ball. He will play that to Scott Moore. Scott Moore will then look to hit Mikhail Aletsky. Mikhail Aletsky gets the Bradford Bulls just shy of the 40-metre line in the Toulouse half. The ball goes through hands, but Bradford come up with another error as as Cameron Smith there forces or is made into to come up with the error and a knock on. When Bradford have the possession again, Mark, and we've said it so many times now, it's a little bit deja vu of us, but a key error, a crucial error in a key part when Bradford should really be now putting Toulouse to the sword.
They should be putting Toulouse to the sword. Should be putting Toulouse under pressure, but just not thinking really about where the runner's coming from, where the teammates coming from, and the penalty now against Bradford for handing, which I think is a bit harsh against McCartney at the play of the ball. He said he got a hand in there, so Bradford will march back downfield, and Toulouse will be in an attacking position.
So Toulouse will kick for touch then, and they'll find touch 35 metres away from the Bradford try line, and Toulouse will get the game back underway. Mariad Kurash, should I say, will get the game back underway. Bradford in there with the tackles. The ball comes loose, but the referee then says the ball was reefed. that was thrown away there in the by Leroy Enzog. That was sort of like just thrown out willy-nilly, Mark. But the referee said, no, I'm not having any of it. Messing about the play of the ball. Another penalty to Toulouse. Toulouse will then march further down the field. They now sit 15 metres away from the Bradford Bulls try line, and will go again on this next set of 6. Toulouse then will look to go in search of more points here at the Odsal Stadium. They now sit 5 metres short as the ball goes through hands, and again Bradford having to muscle up in defence here and bring some shoulder and a bit of grind to this proceedings here. Sam Alice in there again, getting through some good defensive work here. That will see the Toulouse player held up on his back, and Mark, again, it seems to be going from bad to worse.
Well, it is, because the Bradford pack just simply cannot cope with the bigger Toulouse men, and they're just walking through tackles at will. It'll only be a matter of time before Toulouse score again now, in my opinion. Having said that, Toulouse have given the ball away to Lee Smith. There's nobody with him. He read that very well, Lee Smith, and you've got to say there'll be a head-high tackle on him, so it should be a penalty to Bradford. Yeah,
well, what we saw there then was a fantastic break from Lee Smith. Then Toulouse, in their moment of madness, absolutely take Lee Smith around the head, and that allows Bradford now just up to the halfway line, and on this set of 6 now, can Bradford make this possession count? Will remain to be seen, but certainly having it all to do here, Mark, as Sam Hallis is wrapped up there just over the 40-metre line. Scotty Moore then feeds the ball on. The ball goes to Joe Keys. Joe Keys, bit of a knocking pass, and that will see a penalty to Bradford. Again, Mark, it's all very scrappy, and Joe Keys there, for no apparent reason, went without the ball, then tried to get it back, and then very lucky on that one, Mark, I think. Very lucky.
Yeah, Bradford played in ones and not playing as a team, and it looked very disjointed, and they've never really snapped into some shape or structure all game, and that's understandable to a certain extent, given all the changes they've had all season, different combinations, etc.
So Bradford then still with the ball on this next set of 6. Damien Sirinen back on the park for this second half. Damien Sirinen brought down centre park just shy of the 10-metre line. Bradford then will look to go one way. Joe Keys steps off left, cuts back in right, spots the gap, but that's quickly closed by the Toulouse defence. So Sam Hallis then will look to feed. Oh, James Mendika, and James Mendika comes up with a knock-on in a prime scoring position when the line was begging. When Lady Luck's not smiling on you, it's not smiling on you, Hobbo.
No, it's been the tale of the season for the Bradford Bulls. 2017 will be a season to forget, because, you know, the defence was opened up. Toulouse were opened up like a tin of beans. There was a big hole there, and all Mendika had to do was take the ball, but it is swirling wind down there. It's difficult. We're up here in the stand, and it's difficult for us to commentate without, the mic shields getting blown all over the place, but I just felt that should have been taken, and that would have been a conversion, you would have thought, and that would have been it 22-16 and game on.
Well, unfortunately, James Mendika coming up with the error and knocking on, but that will now see Toulouse edge their way back down this park, and Bradford are going to have to stand up here, and the referee now says that's a knock on, and he's going to give scrum feed to the Bradford Bulls. So Toulouse coming up with errors, Mark, and again Bradford getting in the faces of Toulouse, which is something we not saw in the first half, Mark, but a little bit more prevalent in this half.
They're a bit more physical, the Bradford Bulls, in the second half, and that's good, but what they've got to do is take the chances, and I just feel that the three-quarter line's not experienced enough to exploit the Toulouse weaknesses. I just think they lack, apart from Lee Smith, I think they lack that little bit of experience. I think Sirenen's been the top man for Bradford today, and he's been in there and mixing it about, and he's tried everything he possibly can. Lee Smith has shown that he's a class above a lot of the Bradford Bulls players, but there are only two players, they can't do it on their own.
No, certainly not. I mean, Lee Smith has certainly made the difference at the back. As you see, Damien Sirenen, he's fed the ball from this scrum. He will get to the 40-metre line from the Toulouse Olympic try line, and again Bradford now want to edge forward with Liam Kirk, who's now back out on the park. Again, the ball goes through hands. That will see Bradford try and push the possession over on the far stand side, but come up with an error. That hands possession back to Toulouse. Toulouse break downfield, and the Toulouse player is pushed into touch over on the northern stand terrace side. The referee will call that back, but Toulouse player races away, puts the ball down to the ironic cheers of the crowd on the black dot. He will now have to bring that all the way back. And again, from a sloppy handling error, Mark, so how dangerous this Toulouse attack can be, given half an inch.
Yes, they can run and they can gallop, and there would have been a way there and scored a try if it hadn't been for the fact they'd gone into touch on the far side of the ground. And it is a tale of errors from both sides. Again, I don't think I've ever known August be as windy as this. I'm sure it has been, and it's very swirling wind down there. But it means you're going to control the football. Your positional players will be stronger. Your passing's got, you're going to think about that a little bit more. And it's been the same for both sides, quite frankly. But where Toulouse have it, they're just that little bit more organised, a little bit more structured in what they do, Pete. They drive the ball in that little bit harder and they support the ball carrier with a little bit more professionalism, a little bit more accuracy. Not run away. They've not murdered the Bradford Bulls, and there's still a long way to go, of course. 26 minutes left. But you just feel as if Bradford haven't got 2 more scores in them to pull this lead back. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, it's going to take a momentous effort now from the Bradford Bulls team that's out there on the park to certainly get the next score. And I think if Bradford can score next, Obbo, that it should stem this Toulouse Olympic tide a little bit, and also give Bradford a little bit of confidence that this Toulouse team are not unbeatable.
No, they're not unbeatable at all. They were there for the taking today. I felt at Odsal. I think if Bradford had had a slightly stronger side out and the confidence was that little bit better, these are ifs, aren't they? And ifs don't win your rugby league games. They are beatable. They're not the best team. You can see why they're not a Super League team, Toulouse Olympic, because they certainly aren't a Super League team on this showing today.
Well, obviously last season they played in League One, then they come up to the Championship, and again, they finished 5th in the Championship, much against everybody's disbelief, because they were a shoo-in for the 4th spot and a shoo-in then to play.
Yes, they were.
A shoo-in for the right to play for the for the chance to get into Super League. But on this show, Mark, I certainly feel that 5th position is where they really
yes, it is.
At.
Yeah, they're the best of the bunch at this level.
Yeah. So Corey Aston then kicks on the last tackle. That will push Mark Carilla all the way back down to his own try line. Corey Aston will go hunting him along with James Mendika and Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith then in at the tackle with James Mendika, brings Mark Carilla down. The ball goes infield from the Toulouse Olympic side, and Bradford still now need to force Toulouse into an error to keep them in this half of the field, and also they need to be stronger in defence to keep them and stop Toulouse getting any forward momentum here as Toulouse push towards their own 40-metre line now, and Bradford having to muscle up in defence. Damien Sirinen in there again with and the ball comes loose. Now the referee is going to say that's a knock on and hand possession at the scrum to Bradford. So Bradford there with a bit of luck, and another bone crunching hit from Damien Sirinen.
Yeah, he's played his part today, Damien Sirinen. Again, I'm repeating myself, he's playing very, very well. Probably the best Bradford forward, I think, in the last 4 or 5 games, or 3 or 4 games certainly. And he's well worth his money. Doesn't deserve to be on the losing side. That's in fact if he does end up on the losing side. But he's not had much support around him from the rest of the pack, in my opinion. Even Scotty Moore's not been up to his usual high standard for some reason, whatever reason. But let's hope from this scrum Bradford can do something.
So the scrum forms in and the feed is put in. We see then Corey Aston make a little break down park. Again, play centre field. Scotty Moore in it. Hacked in half. He's going to look to it. Joe Keys then out to James Bentley. James Bentley is wrapped up in a 2-man tackle over on the northern stand to the side. But Scott Moore will still go the same way, and then we'll see Joe Keys cut back on the inside as James Bentley goes back to the outside. A little bit bewildering there. Bradford certainly seem to be lacking ideas on that one, but getting some forward momentum and managing to edge their way 15 metres away from the Toulouse Olympic trialing. Joe Keys comes across the park then, and that is then fed to Corey Aston. Corey Aston then feeds Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith wrapped up in the tackle on the 10-metre line. Joe Keys will put a kick up high. That will test the Toulouse Olympic team, and he's brought down in the field of play. So Toulouse Olympic will get this set of 6 of theirs underway, and Bradford now will have to tackle, and that's a head-eye shot from Scotty Moore that absolutely prolapses the the Toulouse Olympique player, and I think that certainly rattled his teeth, Mark.
I think it did, and the Scotty Moore went running in there on the last tackle, and it was the first play. After the kick for the last tackle, it was the first play for Toulouse for their set, and it's wound down the clock as a referee. Scotty Moore will be spoken to, there'll be a penalty to Toulouse Olympique, and all the meantime that is just running the clock down and making it even harder for Bradford to get back into this game.
So we have an injury then to Toulouse player from the head-eye tackle of Scotty Moore. Quickly read from some scores as I've got them then. OKR 14, Halifax 22, Bartley 28, Swinton 10, Dewsbury Rams 32, Rochdale Hornets 4, Sheffield 32, Oldham 10, Barrow 14, Doncaster 6, Keighley 16, York 20, Whitehaven 19, Newcastle 0, and Workington Town 0, Toronto Wolfpack 34.
Right, so the Wolfpack regained their status as leading lights in that league, don't they? If ever they really lost it, but they lost last week against York, but playing well today, and they're going to win that one, aren't they?
Yeah, they should do, Mark, they should do.
And Halifax proving me wrong so far.
Yeah, Halifax proving everybody wrong, because, you know, the win against OKR the other week has certainly set Richard Marshall's men in good stead to go to OKR and certainly be leading 22 points to 14. So Bradford then in defence here against Toulouse Olympique in the first round of the Championship Shield, and Toulouse managing to get the way up to the halfway line, but Bradford again through Kirk and Alice bringing down Clement Boyer of Toulouse Olympique. The ball goes loose, and the referee will call that back now. He'll go scrum down. He'll give the ball to Toulouse on that one, so Toulouse will get the ball in possession on the just inside the Bradford half, 45 metres from the Bradford Bull try line. But that does take a little bit of sting out of the Toulouse attack, ball.
It does. It takes a sting out of the Toulouse attack. There's been a lot of stop-start, a lot of scrums in this game, and down with a very, very windy, swirly conditions at pitch level, and down to the quality level of some of the players, quite frankly. I know that sounds an odd thing to say, but better players just do things that little bit better. And they don't drop the ball in the wind, etc., etc. And Toulouse have not been a phenomenal side today. They've been mediocre, but Bradford Bulls just haven't quite been up to it. Again, the changes and the different combinations they've had to work with today, and I'm making excuses possibly, but they haven't been at the best of Bradford Bulls today, and it's looking like, this season has proved to be one of the most difficult in the club's history.
Well, that's a bit of crossing then from the Toulouse Olympique players. That will see Bradford get possession back, and again another error from Toulouse, Mark, and it's been a case of we've seen this in the last few games that we've done together, Mark, where there've been error-strewn performances, and it's not really been we've said it before, this is the entertainment business. If people have come out today on what could be described as a chilly August
very chilly August afternoon, very windy, very chilly. You want entertaining, it's not been top entertainment here today.
That's it. So again now Bradford, Sam Alice come up with a knock on. The Toulouse players pat themselves on the back. That's a knock on the first tackle, and again so we've had an error from Toulouse, then Bradford get possession, Bradford knock on, and the possession back to Toulouse. So if we're working on that kind of statistic, Mark, that now we should see Toulouse come up with an error and Bradford get possession back.
Yeah, it's been a scrappy game, and Bradford were working hard to try and get back into it, but just not fluent, just not effervescent, just not at the races today. Very, very difficult, but putting some manful, young men are working hard, but they're out the depth, I think, quite frankly.
Well,
and it's going to take a lot of work to get us back to where we need to be.
For all intents and purposes, Sam Alice and James Bentley have absolutely tackled anything that's been thrown at them by Toulouse today, as has Damien Sirenan. But unfortunately, that's not reflected on the scoreboard, and Toulouse still lead 22 points to 10 here at the Providence Stadium, Odsal. You're listening to the Big Match Live as Toulouse break, and that will see a little chip kick inside. That's collected by James Bentley. James Bentley manages to get up to his feet very, very quickly and feeds the ball off to Vila Alafifi. Vila Alafifi cuts one way, cuts back inside to get Bradford forward. Bradford now 25 minutes from their own try line. Ilias McCartney will look to take a drive and get some get some momentum going. But again, a very shallow defence of the Toulouse Olympic team manages to pick him down and pick him off quite easily. The ball comes outside to James Mendika. James Mendika then, he's wrapped up just short of his own 40-metre line, and Cameron Smith then will play the ball to Ross Peltier. Ross Peltier will go one way, beats one, beats two, looking to offload. If he'd have managed to get that way, Damien Sirinin was near, but unfortunately he's wrapped up in the tackle. Joe Keys then feeds the ball out to the far northern terrace side. Bradford certainly getting some momentum here. That looks like a little bit of a facial again from the Toulouse Olympic players. James Keys puts the ball up high. That hits the Toulouse Olympic player, bounce off his chest, goes dead. Bradford will get the ball back in possession, and Mark, a little bit more enterprise there and a little bit more vigour from Bradford.
Well, good kick from Joe Keys there, and James Mendika went chasing through, Hallis went chasing through, Sturman went chasing through, Peltier went chasing through, but with the wind as strong as it is, the ball just went too far for them, didn't it? It came off a Toulouse Olympic player, and of course it'll be a drop out from Toulouse Olympic back to Bradford. Just what you want, tire the opposition out, make them tackle you for another set, and hopefully put some pressure on Toulouse Olympic now during this set, and hopefully get some points. Look how strong the wind is, it's almost blown the ball backwards.
Well, if it hadn't been for the bounce on the pitch, managing to get the ball over the 40-metre line, that ball would have fallen well short.
Yes, it would.
On that drop out there. Ross Peltier then manages to get the Bradford Bulls on the front foot and over the Toulouse towards the 20-metre line as Colton Roach comes back onto the play. Ball goes through hands. Corey Aston goes one way, then goes another. Still managing to get himself forward, manages to claw his way to the 10-metre line. Scotty Moore then in at acting half. The ball then feeds Cameron Smith. Cameron Smith takes a drive. He's brought down 8 metres shy of the Toulouse Olympic line, but Bradford still hunting here. A little bit of a run round there from Scotty Moore, and Corey Aston still keeps Bradford going forward. A little bit of a kick then over the top. That's looking for Ilias McCarney. The ball bounces. Now, what will the referee give here? Is he going to give another drop out, or is he going to give ball back to? Gives a drop out there, saying that the Toulouse Olympic man was the last man to touch it and knock that dead. So great pressure there from Ilias McCarney and James Mendika on the Toulouse Olympic defensive player, as Bradford wait for this ball now to be kicked from the draw line dropout of the Toulouse Olympic then.
Well, it's 10 to the Bulls, 22 to the visitors. Toulouse Olympic, it's Provident. Supporting Bull support, in association with Provident of course, supporting Bull supporters home and away, and with 16 minutes left on the clock.
So Bradford then in possession. Damien Sirinin, centre field, bounces off one of the Toulouse players and manages to get up and quickly play the ball. Scotty Moore scoots away, scoots one way, scoots the other. That will see Scotty Moore try. Now the referee has said no, and for all the hard work there of the Bradford Bulls players, the referee has said no. Scotty Moore has actually knocked on there, Mark, and he's brought it back.
I think that's, if it wasn't for bad luck, there'd be no luck at all here at the Bulls, because I couldn't see Scotty Moore or anybody else knock that ball on. I know he's right on the spot and Wales from 80 metres away. I thought that was, and it was a good try as well from Scotty Moore from 20 metres out. He got the ball, he saw the line, he swerved to the right, he pumped off one foot onto the left, threw the ball in a fainted, almost half dummy, through the Toulouse Olympic defence and battled his way over to score a try. A good try in my opinion, but the referee's saying no, with the scrum head and feed on the 10-metre mark to Toulouse by the look of it, and I'm just baffled by that, completely and utterly baffled. Well, but that's really the essence of the season for the Bradford Bulls. Bad luck.
Well, Scotty Moore and Lee Smith have been called out by the referee from this scrum, and for all, you know, Mark, we've said it many times about attacking. You know, when players run out this defensive line of Toulouse's and other teams that have been classed as being better teams in this division, we've seen that the gaps appear.
They do, yeah. If you run at Toulouse on the fringes, they don't defend well in the centres and on the wing. They're pretty stiff up front in the middle, but that's the way to beat them. But it hasn't been done enough today. As I say, about 15 minutes now left on the clock. Still the Bulls 10, the visitors 22. Once again, Provident bringing you this programme, supporting Bull supporters home and away.
So Bradford Bulls then certainly now defending with a little bit more passion, a little bit more fire. We've seen 3 great tackles so far from the Bradford Bulls in this set of 6, and Scotty Moore certainly fired up, as is James Bentley and Colton Roach, who are certainly getting through a lot of tackles in this second half. However, Toulouse will look to bring it to this main stand side, and if it hadn't been for Corey Afton there managing to wrap up Reese Curran, but the referee then says, no, I'm having none of that. A bit of afters at the tackle, and the referee then gives a relieving penalty to Toulouse Olympique, and I always thought this game was
a tough
rugby
game.
league, Mark.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's been a strange refereeing decision.
Yeah, we're not playing TIG, are we?
No, we're not playing TIG. There was nothing wrong with that at all. Bradford aren't a vicious side. They don't play that type of rugby league football anymore, unfortunately. And that was an unfair penalty to Toulouse Olympique, just letting Bradford relieving the pressure and letting Bradford know that he's got a whistle in his pocket. But I'm amazed at that one. But now Toulouse Olympique up to the 10-metre mark of the Bradford line. Well,
Reese Curran then plays the ball, and again he will go. He'll want to try and add to his 2 tries already this afternoon. Toulouse Centre Park on the 10-metre line. That will see Stanislas Robin offload in the tackle to Mika. Mika will then claw his way slowly forward towards the Bradford Bulls try line. But again, Damien Surin on the 5th tackle then manages to nullify this Toulouse Olympique defence with thing. And that will see a ball go to Joe Keys. Now Joe Keys should go. Go on, Joe Keys. Why? Now then, Joe Keys goes down as injured. The referee has given the possession to Toulouse Olympique, and Mark, I can't wait to see that one back on the replays, because Joe Keys made a fantastic break and he should have just gone. He shouldn't have looked back, he shouldn't have looked over his shoulder.
That's a man not in confidence, because Joe Keys intercepted about 3 minutes out from the Bradford line, right in the corner. He burst away. He didn't think he had the legs on the Toulouse player, and he didn't, to be fair, but there's no point in looking back. A rugby league player should not look back at the chaser, because the chaser is going to catch you, or he's not. Looking back doesn't do a blind bit of good. And I think the Toulouse Olympique got half a hand on him. Was it the winger? I think it was Paul Marcon. Got half a hand on him, and Joe went down. I think he dropped the ball. That's what the referee's saying. I think the Bulls fans think he got it knocked out, and he got as far as about the 22-metre mark of the Toulouse Olympique half, and metre in from the left-hand side. Nothing going right for the Bradford Bulls, as you would expect. And but Joe should just gone down. But to be fair, he'd nobody off his shoulder, had he at all? Nobody there with him at all.
He'd no support play, as you rightly say, Obbo.
There's no paceman out there for Bradford today. There's no paceman whatsoever. And it is a patched up side. I don't think it's the strongest side Bradford could have put out. Well, it is, given the injuries they've had, but I don't think it is the strongest side. And possibly somebody. Having said that, to be fair, he broke away and turned quickly, and he caught the ball, and it stopped a Toulouse try. And we were all hoping and praying, weren't we?
Yeah.
Because we're in that hoping and praying mode here as Bulls people today, and he would score a full length of the field try, which would have, maybe if he could have touched down to the post, that would have made it 16 points to 22. One or two of the fans leaving now. I think that's enough for them. And there you go. Very, very difficult day to be a Bulls fan.
So Toulouse then will get the game back underway here at the Odsal Stadium. Don't forget, you're listening to the Big Match live on BCB 106.6 FM, brought to you in association with Providence, supporting Bulls supporters home and away. The score, should I say, on the Providence scoreboard reads Bradford Bulls 10, Toulouse Olympique 22. We now see an head-out tackle, and this is going to get a bit scrappy in all fairness, and we're seeing 1 or 2 cheap shots coming in from both sets of forwards, Mark. And again, now the referee has signalled a team warning to the Bradford Bulls team and said, next one has gone.
Yeah, well, it's a team warning now for the Bulls, which I think is a bit harsh, because, why do they go with this team warning business? Why don't they just stamp their throat early in the game and send a play to the sin bin for 10 minutes, like the old-fashioned way? It's crazy. Not doing the Bradford Bulls any favours as referee, but then we should have been good enough not to have had to rely upon refereeing decisions to make it hard for us. Surin's going to watch himself, he's going to go like a man possessed. You can see Surin's frustrated because he's a good player, and he's not happy to play in a team that isn't winning.
Well, I've got to be honest with you, Mark, and say that I think that the whole Bradford Bulls team are frustrated with some of the calls that have certainly
been a difficult day at the office for them.
that certainly have been bewildering at times. I mean, bewildering for us sat up here in the commentating box. Never mind bewildering for the players that's down on the park, and that can only add to confusion. But Toulouse now will look to press home advantage as they play the ball one way and bring the ball back centre field. Now a little chip kick through. Can Ilias McCarney get there and knock that one dead?
I think Toulouse have got to try there. I think they've beaten Bradford to it. I think we were very, very lucky.
No, I think that the referee has actually said that Toulouse have knocked on. Lee Smith races away. Lee Smith quickly feeds Josh Ricketts. Josh Ricketts then over on the northern stand terrace will beat one but doesn't manage to beat the second tackle. He's brought down in the tackle. Bit of afters there again in the tackle, not allowing him to get up and play the ball. Toulouse offside. Scotty Moore goes one way, then he's wrapped up by 3 Toulouse players there to try and slow him down. Bradford still looking though to get something towards the closing stages of this one. James Mendika then wrapped up just shy of the 20-metre line, and Bradford again will look to go forward. Corey Aston feeds Ross Peltier. Ross Peltier steps one way, then offloads back to Joe Keys. Joe Keys out to James Bentley. James Bentley cuts back on the inside. Bradford seem to be a little bit lacking ideas of where to go and runners of who they can hit to send through these gaps that are appearing in the Toulouse Olympic defence. And now we see a head-eye shot on Ross Peltier, and Ross Peltier will get the penalty. Now, will the referee... No, he hasn't. I would have thought, Mark, there he'd have put the Toulouse team on a team warning, just as he did to Bradford literally a few minutes ago, but he hasn't. Bradford still have possession then, and will look to try and get something from this set of 6. Damien Sirenen pops the ball up. He was looking for Scotty Moore. The ball goes forward. Toulouse come up with the ball. That's a knock on, and again, Toulouse Olympic then will get the possession from this scrum, and it's all turning into a bit of a mismatch and a scrappy affair, Mark, that I'm certainly looking at in your shaking your head, Mark.
It's very, very difficult.
Bewildering.
It is bewildering. It's been a very frustrating afternoon for everybody concerned, and the first round of the Championship Shield, and Bradford are going to go away, I think, without any points. I don't think they can pull the points back in the time left. It's very sad to see fans leaving the stadium. I think they've had enough, and I can fully understand that. And where do we go from here?
Well, Toulouse will break up field then, and Toulouse will race away. Could they see a length of the field score from Toulouse as the Bradford scrambling defence managed to get back, and the referee allows play to go on. Toulouse still with the ball. They will score in the over on the far stand terrace side. The referee has stopped play. He's now going to have a word with a touch judge, and obviously he's going to say that the Toulouse player continued the play there, and he gives a penalty to Bradford. Obviously the Toulouse player, ball carrying hand, hit the deck, nullifies the
got up and played the ball, and
the
the play continued on, so it's a no try.
Yeah,
but
it is
what
a no
it does
try.
show you, and that's quite right, that decision is perfect, much to the delight of the Bradford faithful, but what it just shows you how easy it was to rip the Bradford Bull side apart there with quick play of the ball and speed, and that's the difference.
Yeah.
That little bit quicker, the thinking game that little bit smarter, and it's been a difficult afternoon at the office for the Bradford Bulls. They've battled valiantly, the young kids, but not going to be enough.
Well, we reckon about 4 minutes left then here on the Providence scoreboard, on the Provident clock.
Well, what can the Bulls do? Can they snatch victory from the jaws of defeat? Let's hope they can, but I think they're running out of time, Pete. I think there's actually 8 minutes left.
That's it.
If I'm reading the clock right. Yes, I think 8 minutes left, unless I'm reading that wrong, but no, I think there's 7 or 8 minutes left. It can be done, but I don't think the Bulls can do it.
No.
I don't think they've got the firepower to do it with. But let's hope I'm wrong. Let's hope we've got a grandstand finish, and let's hope we can get 2 points on the in the bag.
So what can Bradford do here then? With
Last
the
tackle.
ball, the last tackle. The referee's having none of it. It looks slightly high. Colton Roach will put a little chip kick over. That will bounce and eventually find its way into touch. And the referee will give head and feed to the scrum on the last tackle to Toulouse. Bradford slowly but surely getting to the scrum. The referee's not stopped the clock yet. We see or two people starting to leave now, Mark, as
yeah,
they've had enough on this.
Yes, I can understand that. It's been a difficult.
I can't call it a lovely August afternoon, Mark, because it's been absolutely freezing.
Well, it has. People wrapped up in sweatshirts and hoodies and things like that. It's been a cold afternoon, a very windy and cold August afternoon, and cold on the field and cold through the bones, and the feeling is one of coldness from the Bradford Bulls team, because quite frankly it's been a very, very difficult season, difficult afternoon, and it's a case of back to the drawing board for the Bulls.
Well, Bradford Bulls then in defence. Scotty Moore manages to wrap up Anthony Marion on that one. Marion still manages to offload though. That will see Toulouse get their way to the 20-metre line away, as they look to get some forward momentum going through Levi and Zogu over on the northern stand terrace side. The ball comes back into the park, in the centre of the park. Bradford again having to muscle up in defence and tackle. Scotty Moore on the 5th and last then, as Toulouse will put a kick through. That will cause Josh Ricketts to go back. Josh Ricketts just lets that bounce till he's got full control of it. He's then met quite easily by the Toulouse defence, and in a one-on-one Toulouse are trying to go for a ball steal, but the referee says no, he's held, get it off him, let him play the ball. Toulouse are now standing very shallow, and Ilias Makani will have the ball. Ilias Makani manages to beat one but doesn't get away from the second tackle, so Lee Smith then feeds the ball to Damien Surin to Scotty Moore. The referee is going to call for another scrum for a knock-on and give possession back to Toulouse, as it's all petering out here at the Odsal Stadium. The score currently stands Bradford Bulls 10, the visitors 22.
Well, as always, Provident supporting Bull supporters home and away, bringing this programme to us this year. We thank Provident for that. And with more games to compete, we've another 6 games, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got 6 games left in the Shield.
I think another 4 away and 2 at home.
Yeah, 4 away, and we finish at home against Rochdale.
We do indeed. That's the last game
in the last match of the Shield in the season. And again, I can't say, we've got to look at it and we've got to say, well, we're not going to get 2 more, as we see Toulouse race away here now and score to put this one beyond the Bradford Bulls. And Mark, I've got to ask the question. I'm just looking down quickly at some results that I've got sat in front of me, and Bradford losing today, Mark. Is that it? Is that?
I think that's it. Tunham are all there, sprinting from 30 metres out. We didn't even have a centre 3/4 that could catch him and get anywhere near him. And I probably could have caught that since an M60. That just says it all. We've got nothing in the club. We've no speed. We've no talent. We've probably got talent, but it's not there yet. And the talent's gone in. It's now 10 points to the Bulls, 26 to the visitors. Some broken play there. Bradford Bulls grouping together. Morel just ran 40 metres and scored in the corner. Nobody could get anywhere near him. Nobody with any real pace. How can you have a 3/4 line that hasn't got pace? That's unbelievable. Very sad to say that, but that's the way it is. Going back to what you were saying to answer your question, Pete, technically we're now in the division below.
Well,
unless a miracle happens from the Rugby League, and the Rugby League are insisting that that's not going to, there's no special dispensations. Now, we didn't ask that question, did we?
No.
We said, is there going to be any changes to the league, etc., etc. You don't get a straight answer, really. But, very, very difficult, and, technically now, sorry, but you were going to read some results out that tell us another story, don't they?
Yeah, well, I'm just looking down the scores as I have them, and from what I understand, it's currently Hull KR 20, Halifax 22, Batley 56, Swinton 10. Obviously, here it stands the Bradford Bulls 10 and the visitors 26.
A missed conversion there from Toulouse, much to the ironical jeers of the fans that are still inside the ground. So it's now the Bulls 10, the visitors 26. Sorry, Pete.
26, yeah. Dewsbury Rams 42, Rochdale Onyx 8, and Sheffield 48, Oldham 10. And I'm understanding that that Sheffield mark is a full-time result, as is the OKR Halifax result, which if that's a full-time result for the OKR Halifax team, Halifax have come up with a victory
Yes,
in the first
on the way
round
back to Super League.
of Super League.
Yeah,
Who would
the
have thought
Halifax
that?
fans listening won't thank me for this. I still don't think they're going to go to Super League. But listen, who am I?
I'm not getting dragged
No,
into that, Matt.
no,
I know
well,
you've got your branch of the Halifax supporters
Yeah,
club.
that's right. You hate me, but there you go. Listen, good luck if you do. Listen, I like Richard Marshall. I'm a friend of his. He's a great coach, he's Richard, and well done to him. I just don't think they're capable of I think they'll win another game, but I don't think they'll win enough to get into Super League. But that isn't bitterness at all. I'd like them to do it. They're a West Yorkshire team.
So Toulouse Olympic then will look to put some more points on the
here.
score. This is what will Lee Smith do here. He will run the ball dead. Toulouse will get the ball back for a dropout. We heard Scotty Moore.
2 minutes 10 left. And,
we heard Scotty Moore announced as the
man of the match.
Yeah.
I'd have given that to Surin and me personally, but there you go. Well, we can't even kick the ball 10 metres, and there you go. What's the referee going to give there?
So he stops the clock. He's going to bring Lee Smith back. Is he going to let the Bulls restart this one, Mark?
Yes, he is.
So I think Lee Smith was trying to go for a cheeky shallow one. He won't try that a second time with the wind behind his back. But that's kicked nice and deep. That sees Damien Surin fly out, but unfortunately misses the tackle. Although Toulouse throw the ball back in the tackle. The referee says play on, and again, the ball comes loose. That will see James Mendika pick the ball up. He'll feed the ball to James Bentley. James Bentley will again try and burst this line. Manages to get just shy of the 40-metre line. As Vila Alafifi comes in and takes a forward run that will get his side just shy of the halfway line now. And James Davis on the park. James Davis gets that big frame of his moving to get the Bulls a little bit further forward, as the clock is slowly but surely running down here at the Odsal Stadium. Ilias Makani then with the ball in hand, and again a little chip through. We'll see Ilias Makani act that forward. That will then see a bit of a foot race between James Mendika, Corey Aston and Ilias Makani to bring down Mark Carella, and a bit of a loose play there, but Toulouse Olympic certainly managing to retain possession, as Bastien Alder then will go down in the tackle, but Toulouse again with the ball and starving Bradford of possession, and certainly making Bradford work this afternoon, as they've had to do for the full 80, nearly the full 80 minutes here, apart from the odd occasion that they have managed to bust through the try line and score. But Toulouse, again, it's the closing stage of this, will split the Bradford Bulls defence, and if Stanislas Robin could have got away there, Toulouse were looking good for another score. A little kick along the ground. We'll see Bradford have to gather this. That will see Josh Ricketts pick up the ball. Josh Ricketts will bring the ball back then, and he's met on his own 30-metre line, and the final Luta goes, Mark.
Well, there we go, the end of the first round of the Championship playoffs, and Bradford being beaten by Toulouse Olympique.